All right, hi everybody. Today we are going to be talking about charcoal, the basics, and how to get started. So to start with, I'm going to talk about some of the basics with the charcoal. The two main types that we're going to be using are vine charcoal, which is usually these really thin sticks, and then compressed charcoal, which is, think of the charcoal material being compressed, so it's a lot darker because it's a softer material, all of the dust that's been compacted, where the vine charcoal is a little bit lighter. So let's get started. I'll just show you a little bit with what you can do. I've got two different papers here. I've got just basic newsprint, which is really good if you're just kind of doing practice or just messing around. You can get it in really big sheets. And then I have drawing paper here, which is a little more sturdy. You can also use charcoal paper. Papers come in lots of different colors. And you can even use like gessoed surfaces. So charcoal is really, really versatile. So starting with that vine charcoal, if I'm trying to make a sphere, I'm just gonna start kind of manipulating the material around. Now, one of the nice things about charcoal, especially the vine charcoal, is I can kind of blend it with my finger to start to get shape or form in the piece. So you can see already it's starting to look like a sphere just from the use of that vine charcoal. Now, because it's so thin, it is breakable, but it's a really nice starting place. You also can get sharper edges on it because it is a little bit more of a thin piece. Let's get the start of a shadow going here. All right, so that is your vine charcoal. You'll see the compressed, it's a lot darker. And I think I misspoke before. It's actually something that blends a little bit less because it's so much more compressed, where the vine charcoal is a little easier to blend. But you can see already, you can get much, much more of a dark value when you're using this. And I'm barely putting any weight on it. If I really want to, I can push and get it to be very, very dark, as you can see there. So once again, I'm using my finger as a blender. This is one of my favorite ways to use charcoal. It feels very hands-on, which is really nice if you like that sort of thing. Now, because your fingers will get so messy as you're working, it's nice to have near you a paper towel that's got a little wet area and then also has a dry area so you can wipe them off. You don't want to add any water to your paper as you're working. Some other things that you'll be using along the way, in addition to the vine and the compressed charcoal. You might use a white colored pencil or a white charcoal pencil. You might also use different types of charcoal pencils, which I have here. And you might use a tortillon. This is just a blending stump. It's really just paper that's been rolled up. In this case, it's just newsprint like we have here. And so you can use that to kind of fine tune and get more detail with your shading. So if you look, I'm getting like a very crisp edge, just a way to kind of clean up what you're doing. And eventually these do have to get thrown away because the ends get very, very dirty. Let's talk about the pencils for a second though. I have a 2B, I have a 6B and a 4B, and those indicate the softness of the charcoal material. So 6B is the most soft. So that's the way that you can get your darkest value. The 2B, you'll see it, it's a lot less dark. It doesn't smear as much as that 6B. And then 4B is somewhere in the middle. So just to kind of give you an idea, these also can help you get more detail with your charcoal. Now, the white charcoal pencil, it's not something you need, but you can use it to go in and add highlights or really, really kind of brighten up a spot. So here you can see I'm kind of bringing this shape to life, this form to life with the use of that white colored pencil or charcoal pencil. So you'll obviously need a pencil sharpener. These are better than using the electric ones because these pencils, the charcoal is very, very soft. So it's a little bit easier to do it independently. You also might need some different styles of eraser or pieces of sandpaper. So this is just a stick that has sandpaper on it. This is really nice. Let's say I need my compressed charcoal to have a really nice specific edge. I can go and use it and basically take some of the material off, and that gives me a sharper edge for what I might need in my drawing. Okay, the erasers, different erasers do different things. With charcoal, you can see that this one just got this really dark spot from where it was working on the material. So you kind of have to test out which ones work best for you. You can also kind of clean your eraser off on the sandpaper. The other one I want to focus on is what's called a kneadable eraser. It's kind of like clay or silly putty in that way. The nice thing about them is they're self-cleaning. So if all I have to do is knead it, and you might notice that the color is changing from the darkness of the charcoal to basically it's becoming a lot lighter. So this is really nice. Let's say I make some mistakes. I can go in, press it down. It really kind of cleans up your edges, and you just have to keep cleaning it every once in a while to get things out of the way. Now, it might not take off your darkest spots, so you can see it took some of it off, but not all of it. Sometimes you have to kind of live with what you have in some ways with charcoal. You can't get it all off, but if I keep cleaning it, I can get more and more of the material off. All right, the last thing I want to show you is about creating a ground. So here you see on my paper, I started with this background. It's really nice with charcoal to start with a gray instead of a white because it makes your shapes kind of pop out. So to do that, I just simply took some of my vine charcoal. You can start with the compressed too. I like the vine because it's a little bit easier to manipulate. And so I just started to add it to the paper. I'm just smearing this around, trying to create that middle gray as a starting point. So now from there, I can choose which tool I want to make. Let's say I'm trying to make another sphere. All right, I can kind of sketch it in really lightly. And then I can start adding my darkness to it, like you see in the one above. This is a really nice way of creating, and then you can actually subtract with your eraser before adding your white to it. So if I know I want my light source over here, look at how already this is popping out because of the mix of the light values and dark values. So already really, really kind of coming to life just with minimal things. And then if I really want to make it pop after, I can go back and use my white charcoal to really make it sing. So these are some of your basics with charcoal. I hope this was a helpful tutorial, and I'm excited to see what you do.